Have you ever found yourself trapped in your own thoughts? Does it feel like your mind won't stop racing, no matter how hard you try to find peace? What if I told you that the answer to calming your mind isn't more effort, but a deeper understanding of yourself? Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to Son.Mindfulness, where we explore ways to bring peace, clarity, and mindfulness into our daily lives. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly bombarded with thoughts, worries, and the pressure to do more. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stuck in a cycle of overthinking. We all experience emotional pain, whether from past trauma, fear, or simply the chaos of life. But what if this overthinking and pain isn't something to fight against, but something to understand and transform? The good news is that there's a solution. Buddhism offers powerful teachings to help us break free from the endless cycle of overthinking. It teaches us how to reconnect with our inner peace, stop overthinking, and live more mindfully. By embracing practices like mindfulness and self-compassion, we can regain control over our thoughts and emotions. At Son.Mindfulness, we believe in the wisdom of these teachings. Through simple yet profound practices, we can rediscover clarity and calm, no matter how overwhelming life may feel. I'm here to guide you through these powerful tools and show you how to bring mindfulness into your everyday routine. If you've ever struggled with overthinking or emotional pain, you're not alone. Let's dive into how Buddhism can help us transform these struggles into opportunities for growth and healing. Stay with me until the end of this video because you're about to learn practical, actionable steps on how to stop overthinking and regain your inner peace. Let's get started. Part 2. Discover the quiet strength within. What if peace wasn't something to chase but something to uncover? We all seek strength in different ways. Many of us believe strength comes from action, success, or power. But what if true strength lies not in doing, but in being still? Buddhism teaches us that peace doesn't come from external achievements, but from within. The Buddha's words, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without," invite us to stop searching for peace outside ourselves. Instead, he encourages us to look inward. But how do we find peace when our minds are constantly racing? How to stop overthinking? The answer lies in stillness. We often mistake the noise of our thoughts for reality, thinking that if we just fix enough problems, peace will follow. But true peace isn't found in the world around us. It is found in the stillness of the mind. The power of inner stillness. Imagine an ocean during a storm. The waves are crashing and the winds are howling. But deep beneath the surface, there's calm. That calm is within you, no matter how turbulent the world around you may seem. When we practice mindfulness, we begin to realize that we are not our thoughts. Just as waves are not the ocean, our thoughts are not who we truly are. The true you is the silent observer of those thoughts. To stop overthinking, we must create space between ourselves and our thoughts. By simply sitting in stillness and observing our thoughts, we start to uncover the quiet strength within us. In that space, we discover that we are not the storm, but the vast, unshaken sky. The Buddha's teachings on inner peace. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is part of life, but it's not something to avoid. The Buddha didn't promise a life without suffering. What he offered was a way to meet suffering with awareness, to face it without losing ourselves. When we encounter pain or discomfort, we often try to escape or numb it. But Buddhism shows us that true strength lies in facing our suffering consciously. By doing so, we discover our inner peace and strength. A story of inner strength. Consider the story of Siddhartha, who later became the Buddha. Siddhartha was born into wealth and power, but he believed that external achievements would bring him peace. After years of searching, he realized that peace wasn't something to be found outside. He sat under the Bodhi tree and chose to face his suffering without distractions. Through stillness and meditation, he discovered the quiet strength within. Siddhartha's journey reminds us that true strength isn't in external success. It's about discovering the peace that's always within us, just waiting to be noticed. How to stop overthinking. So, how to stop overthinking? The next time you feel overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions, pause. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, who is the one noticing these thoughts? In that moment of awareness, you'll find the quiet strength within you. You don't need to fight your thoughts. Simply watch them pass by, like clouds in the sky. This is the peace that has always been within you. This journey of stillness is just the beginning. Once you learn to stop overthinking and tap into your inner strength, you can begin to see the deeper patterns beneath your thoughts. And that takes us to the next part of our journey, opening your eyes to what truly is. Stay with me as we explore how becoming aware of these hidden patterns can help you break free from overthinking and truly live in the present moment. Part 3. Open your eyes to what truly is. How often do we go through life on autopilot? Many of us move through the day without truly seeing what's happening around us. We react to situations without questioning why we're reacting the way we do. We go through the motions, believing that our thoughts and feelings are simply the way things are. But what if we're missing something? What if our reactions aren't the full truth? What if, instead of simply reacting to the world around us, we could begin to see things clearly? In Buddhism, this is called awakening, the ability to see life as it truly is, without the filter of our unconscious patterns. Living in a state of unawareness. So many of us live our lives without really being present. We're on autopilot, reacting to things without realizing that our reactions are not the truth. They are merely conditioned responses. When someone cuts us off in traffic, we get angry. When a loved one says something we don't like, we feel hurt. But these reactions are not the truth of who we are. They are the result of unconscious habits and deep-seated fears. To stop overthinking, we must first wake up to the fact that our automatic reactions often have little to do with the present moment. They are shaped by our past experiences, insecurities, and hidden emotions. Buddhism and awareness. Buddhism teaches that awareness is the key to freedom. It's not enough to simply react to life. To truly live, we must begin to see the underlying patterns that drive our behavior. This is the essence of mindfulness, to observe without judgment, to simply notice what's happening in our minds and in our hearts. Through mindfulness, we can start to notice when we're reacting from a place of fear or past trauma. For example, when you feel anger rising in a situation, take a moment to ask yourself, where is this anger coming from? Is it about the present moment, or is it a reaction to something that happened long ago? When we make the space to ask these questions, we begin to open our eyes to what truly is, a story of awakening. Consider the story of a young monk named Ananda, who once reacted to every small thing with intense emotion. One day, while walking with the Buddha, Ananda was insulted by a passerby. In the past, Ananda would have lashed out in anger, but this time, he paused. He remembered the Buddha's teachings on mindfulness and took a deep breath before responding. Ananda realized that his anger wasn't about the insult. It was about his own attachment to pride, his belief that he needed to protect his ego. By noticing his emotional reaction and observing it with awareness, he didn't become the anger. Instead, he let it pass. And in that moment, he found peace. How to stop overthinking. So how to stop overthinking? It begins by becoming aware of when you're on autopilot, reacting automatically to life's events. When you feel an emotional response, take a moment to pause and observe. Ask yourself, what is truly happening right now? Is this response grounded in the present moment, or is it based on past experiences? By becoming more aware, you can stop overthinking and start seeing things for what they truly are. This awareness allows you to respond to situations with clarity and peace, not with unconscious fear or automatic reactions. As we continue this journey, we will explore how we often misunderstand ourselves and believe we are broken, when in fact, we are simply forgetting our wholeness. Let's now move into You Are Not Broken, You Are Simply Forgetting Your Wholeness, and explore how embracing our true selves is the key to lasting peace. Part 4. You are not broken, you are simply forgetting your wholeness. Have you ever felt like you're broken, like something inside of you is missing? It's easy to feel like we are shattered, especially after life's hardships. A heartbreak, a failure, or a difficult challenge can make us feel like we are not whole. We might believe that something is wrong with us, that we're broken beyond repair. But Buddhism teaches us a different perspective. You are not broken. You are simply forgetting your wholeness. The concept of wholeness in Buddhism. In Buddhism, we are taught that we are whole from the moment we are born. The essence of who we are is complete and perfect. But over time, we accumulate layers of fear, pain, and self-doubt that make us believe we are incomplete. We begin to think that our imperfections define us. We believe that the pain we've experienced has made us broken. But the truth is, these beliefs are illusions. We are whole. We just forget it. Buddhism and healing. Buddhism offers a path to reconnect with our true selves and heal the parts we feel are broken. The practice of mindfulness and self-compassion helps us to recognize that the feelings of inadequacy or brokenness are not the truth of who we are. Instead, they are the result of past experiences, societal expectations, and self-judgment. When we stop identifying with these thoughts and emotions, we begin to remember our wholeness. Through meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. We begin to see that our pain doesn't define us. It's simply a part of our experience. And in this process, we can heal. Healing is not about fixing something that's broken, but about reconnecting with the wholeness that has always been within us. A story of healing and wholeness. There was a woman named Maya who, after a painful divorce, felt completely shattered. She believed that the end of her marriage meant the end of her happiness. She felt broken and lost, as if she had lost a part of herself. Maya's pain made her believe that she was not enough, that she was forever broken. One day, she decided to start meditating, just to find some peace in the midst of her emotional turmoil. At first, it was difficult. Her mind was filled with thoughts of sadness, anger, and fear. But as she continued, something remarkable happened. She began to observe her feelings without judgment. Instead of identifying with the pain, she simply watched it come and go. Through this practice, she started to realize that her worth was not tied to her past or her pain. She was whole, just as she was. Maya learned that healing didn't mean fixing herself. It meant accepting herself fully, imperfections and all. She began to love herself, and in doing so, she found her strength again. How to stop overthinking. So how to stop overthinking? It starts with recognizing that you are not broken. The negative thoughts and emotions you feel are not your true self. They are just passing experiences that don't define who you are. To stop overthinking, you need to reconnect with your wholeness. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I am whole as I am. By embracing yourself with love and compassion, you can begin to heal. The next time you feel overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions, remember Maya's story. You are not broken. You are simply forgetting your wholeness. As we continue, we will explore the next step in healing, gently turning toward the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, the shadow within. Part 5. Gently turn toward your shadow. What is the shadow within you? In life, we all have parts of ourselves that we prefer not to acknowledge. These are the feelings and emotions that we suppress because they're uncomfortable: anger, fear, guilt, grief. We push them down, hoping they will disappear, but instead they tend to resurface in unhealthy ways. These hidden parts are often referred to as the shadow. The shadow isn't something evil or broken. It's simply the parts of ourselves that we've hidden away, either consciously or unconsciously. And while it's natural to want to avoid discomfort, Buddhism teaches us that the key to healing lies in gently turning toward these parts of ourselves, not ignoring or destroying them. Facing the shadow. To face the shadow is to confront the emotions and behaviors we often avoid. It's about acknowledging the anger that bubbles up when we're upset, the fear that holds us back, or the grief we've buried deep inside. These feelings are not to be feared or avoided. They are part of us, and when we face them, we can understand their root causes. When we ignore our shadow, it controls us without our awareness. We repeat unhealthy patterns, like reacting in anger or withdrawing in fear, because we haven't taken the time to understand what drives them. But when we gently turn toward our shadow, we begin to see that these emotions are simply messages. They are not our true selves, but rather signals of what we need to heal or address. Buddhism and the Shadow Buddhism encourages us to meet our discomforts with compassion and awareness. Instead of running from our anger or sadness, we can observe them with a sense of curiosity and kindness. By doing this, we learn that our shadow isn't something to be feared. It's simply a part of our human experience, and by acknowledging it, we can integrate it into our whole being. The Buddha taught that suffering is part of life, but suffering doesn't have to control us. By embracing our shadows, whether it's the anger we feel after an argument or the sadness that lingers from a loss, we create space for healing. This space allows us to transform our suffering into wisdom and compassion, letting go of old patterns and embracing a new, more peaceful way of being. A real-life example. There was a man named James who spent years avoiding his anger. He had grown up in a household where showing anger was seen as weak, so he learned to suppress it. But over the years, James began to notice that his anger would bubble up unexpectedly. He'd snap at loved ones over small things, or get frustrated at work for no apparent reason. One day, after an argument with a friend, James decided to try something different. Instead of pushing the anger away, he sat down quietly and allowed himself to feel it fully. He asked himself, "Why am I so angry? What is this anger trying to tell me?" Through mindfulness and gentle inquiry, James discovered that his anger was rooted in years of unresolved frustration and feeling unheard. He had been bottling up his emotions, not realizing how much they were affecting his relationships and well-being. By turning toward his anger with compassion, James was able to let go of the old patterns. He learned to express his feelings in healthy ways, and over time, he found a new sense of peace. James's story shows us that facing our shadow, our suppressed emotions, can help us understand our behavior and free us from patterns that no longer serve us. How to stop overthinking. So, how to stop overthinking? It starts by acknowledging the emotions that we often avoid. When you feel anger, fear, or sadness, instead of pushing it away, ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? By gently turning toward these feelings, you'll begin to see that they are not to be feared, but understood. This practice of mindfulness helps you stop overthinking by giving you the space to observe and integrate your emotions. Instead of reacting from a place of fear or anger, you can respond with clarity and calm. As we continue, we will explore how to trust that life unfolds with purpose. When we embrace our shadows and recognize that every experience serves a deeper purpose, we can begin to live with more peace and acceptance. Let's now move into Trust That Life Unfolds with Purpose, where we'll explore how to find meaning in even the most challenging moments. Part 6. Trust that life unfolds with purpose. Have you ever asked yourself, why me? Life often throws us curveballs, setbacks, challenges, and painful experiences that make us question the very path we're on. When things don't go as planned, we wonder if we've done something wrong or if we're somehow being punished. But Buddhism offers a different perspective. Everything that happens in your life has a purpose. Life is not random. Each event, no matter how painful, is connected to a larger web of causes and conditions. The setbacks we face are not meaningless. They are part of the process of growth. Buddhism teaches that the challenges we experience are not obstacles to our happiness. They are the lessons we need to become more enlightened and connected to our true selves. Buddhism's perspective on life's challenges. According to Buddhist teachings, everything in life arises from causes and conditions. This means that the difficulties we face are not accidental. They are part of a larger, interconnected flow of life that shapes who we are becoming. When we resist life's challenges, we only create more suffering for ourselves. But when we accept them and even embrace them, we start to see the deeper meaning behind each experience. Each challenge is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to understand more about ourselves. Buddhism encourages us to see every experience, good or bad, as a lesson. The pain of rejection, the sting of failure, and the sorrow of loss are not signs that life is against us. Instead, they are the teachers that help us become wiser, kinder, and more compassionate. How to stop overthinking. How to stop overthinking when life doesn't go as planned. The key is to trust that there is a purpose in everything, even when we can't see it. Instead of getting caught in the why me mindset, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? By embracing life's challenges with an open heart and mind, we stop overthinking. We stop getting stuck in the cycle of questioning why things happen, and instead, we allow ourselves to grow through each experience. A real-life example. Consider the story of Sarah, who faced rejection after rejection in her job search. After months of applying for positions and getting no response, she began to feel discouraged. She started to doubt herself and wondered if she was ever going to find a job that aligned with her passions. One day, after yet another failed job interview, Sarah decided to take a break and do something completely different. She enrolled in a volunteer program to teach underprivileged children, thinking it might provide a temporary distraction from her job search. But what happened next surprised her. She fell in love with teaching. The experience opened her eyes to a new direction in life, and soon she realized that her true calling was in education, not in the corporate world. Sarah's journey shows us that setbacks are not the end. They are a part of the unfolding process of life. What seemed like rejection at first was actually guiding her to something far more fulfilling than she could have imagined. She learned that life has a way of steering us toward the right path, even if we don't always understand why things happen the way they do. How to stop overthinking. To stop overthinking, Sarah had to trust that life was leading her where she needed to go. She stopped asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "What's next for me?" By shifting her perspective and embracing the lessons in every experience, she found her true purpose. Life's challenges are not barriers to happiness. They are the gateways to a deeper understanding of ourselves. When we trust that life unfolds with purpose, we open ourselves to the flow of growth and transformation. As we continue, we will explore how to recognize that your pain is not yours alone. In the next section, we will delve into the universal nature of suffering and how connecting with others can help us heal and grow. Part 7. Your pain is not yours alone. Have you ever felt like your pain is something you carry alone? When we're in the midst of suffering, it's easy to feel isolated. We think that no one else understands what we're going through, that our pain is unique to us. But Buddhism teaches us that suffering is part of the shared human experience. We are all interconnected, and our healing is linked to the healing of others. Shared human experience. Every person, at some point in their life, faces pain. Whether it's the heartbreak of a lost relationship, the grief of losing a loved one, or the frustration of unfulfilled dreams, pain is something we all experience. In these moments, it can feel like we're the only one suffering. But the truth is, our pain is not isolated. It is part of a larger shared experience. When we see our suffering as part of the human condition, we begin to feel less alone. We realize that our struggles are not unique to us. They are experienced by millions of others around the world. This understanding can help us stop overthinking and move towards healing, as we realize that suffering is a universal part of life. The role of compassion. Buddhism teaches that the way to alleviate suffering is through compassion, not only for others, but also for ourselves. Compassion is the practice of recognizing the suffering of others and responding with kindness and empathy. But often, we forget to offer the same compassion to ourselves. When we experience pain, we tend to be hard on ourselves, believing that we should be stronger or better at handling our emotions. Compassion begins by acknowledging our own suffering without judgment. By being kind to ourselves, we create the space to heal. But compassion doesn't stop there. It extends to others as well. When we practice compassion for others who are experiencing pain, we begin to understand that we are not alone in our suffering. This connection can be incredibly healing, as we realize that we are part of a larger community of people who share similar struggles. A real-life example. Let me share the story of Emma, who attended a meditation retreat after experiencing the heartbreak of a failed marriage. At first, Emma felt completely isolated in her grief. She couldn't stop overthinking the reasons behind the breakup and felt like no one could understand her pain. During the retreat, she was invited to sit in a circle with others who had come to find peace. Each person shared their struggles, and Emma realized that many of them had faced similar pain. Some had lost loved ones, others had gone through difficult separations. For the first time, Emma felt a deep sense of connection. She realized that her heartbreak wasn't an isolated experience, it was a shared one. As Emma practiced offering compassion to others in the group, she found that her own pain began to soften. By listening with an open heart and extending kindness to others, she felt a profound sense of healing. She began to see that in helping others heal, she was also healing herself. How to stop overthinking. So how to stop overthinking when you're caught in your pain? Start by recognizing that you are not alone. Your suffering is part of the shared human experience, and in offering compassion to others, we will begin to feel the healing power of connection. When we stop overthinking and allow ourselves to extend compassion, both to ourselves and to others, we create the space for our pain to soften and transform. This practice not only helps us heal individually, but it also brings healing to the collective. As we continue, we will explore how to watch the mind without becoming it. By practicing mindfulness, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This will help us move beyond the pain and find peace in the present moment. Part 8. Watch the mind but do not become it. Have you ever felt like your thoughts are controlling you? We all experience moments when our thoughts spiral out of control. When stress, worry, or fear take over, it's easy to believe that our thoughts define who we are. But Buddhism teaches us that we are not our thoughts. We are the observers of our minds. Observing the mind. The concept of watching the mind is a key teaching in Buddhism. It's the practice of observing your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Many of us mistakenly believe that we are our thoughts. When we feel angry or sad, we think, I am angry or I am sad. But these emotions are not who we are, they are simply passing experiences. The Buddha taught that we are the silent witness to our thoughts and feelings. By practicing mindfulness, we can create a space between ourselves and our thoughts. In this space, we are free to observe our thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This allows us to stop overthinking and respond to situations with greater clarity and calmness. Buddhist wisdom on mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present with whatever is happening in the moment. It means paying attention to your thoughts and emotions without judgment or attachment. When you observe your mind without becoming identified with it, you begin to see that thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. They come and go, but they don't define the sky itself. This mindfulness allows us to break free from the automatic reactions that often lead to overthinking. Instead of being overwhelmed by our thoughts, we become conscious of them. We realize that we don't have to act on every thought that arises. In this way, we stop overthinking and regain control of our responses. Real-life example. Let me share the story of Michael, a young professional who often struggled with stress at work. He found himself constantly thinking about his to-do list, worrying about deadlines, and stressing over every little detail. As a result, he would often become overwhelmed, making it difficult to focus or stay calm in stressful situations. One day, Michael decided to try a simple mindfulness practice. Whenever he felt overwhelmed by thoughts, he would pause, take a deep breath, and observe the thoughts in his mind. Instead of reacting to them, he began to ask himself, "Are these thoughts helping me right now?" He learned to let go of the thoughts that weren't useful and focus on what was important. As Michael practiced this technique, he noticed a shift. His stress began to lessen and he felt more in control of his emotions. By observing his thoughts instead of being consumed by them, he was able to respond to situations with greater calmness and clarity. This practice allowed him to stop overthinking and approach his work with a clearer mind. How to stop overthinking? How to stop overthinking? The answer is simple. Observe your thoughts without becoming them. By practicing mindfulness, you create a space where you can notice your thoughts without identifying with them. This practice frees you from the constant cycle of overthinking and gives you the ability to respond with awareness and presence. As we continue, we will explore a powerful lesson: the strength hidden in stillness. In this section, we will look at how true strength is found not in doing, but in being, embracing stillness and silence to reconnect with your true self. Part 9. Bonus lesson: the strength hidden in stillness. What if true strength wasn't about doing more, but about doing less? In today's fast-paced world, we are often taught that to be strong, we must keep moving, striving, and achieving. We are conditioned to believe that our value comes from how much we do, how many tasks we complete, and how busy we stay. But Buddhism offers a different perspective. True strength is found in stillness, not in constant action. Strength in silence. We tend to overlook the power of silence. It's easy to believe that stillness is a sign of weakness or inactivity, but Buddhism teaches us that silence is where our true power lies. In the quiet moments, we can hear our own truth. We can reconnect with the deeper parts of ourselves that often get drowned out by the noise of everyday life. When we stop and allow ourselves to be still, we open the door to clarity and insight. In stillness, we regain perspective, find inner peace, and tap into the wisdom that lies within. Far from being empty, silence is the fertile ground where our wisdom and insights are born. Buddhism and stillness. Buddhist teachings encourage us to embrace moments of stillness throughout our day. In these moments, we are not running away from our thoughts or feelings. Instead, we are creating space to observe them without judgment. This space allows us to stop overthinking and become more connected to our true selves. Stillness isn't about escaping from life. It's about fully engaging with it from a place of peace and clarity. It's in these moments of quiet that we can hear the subtle wisdom of our hearts and minds. We are not distracted by the constant noise of our thoughts, and we can respond to life from a place of awareness, not impulsivity. Real-life example. Let's consider a simple practice that can help you find the strength in stillness. Each morning, take 5 minutes to sit quietly. Turn off all distractions, no phone, no music, just silence. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let your mind settle. At first, your mind may be full of thoughts, worries, and distractions. But as you continue to sit in silence, you will notice that the mind begins to quiet. In this space, you will start to feel more present and more in touch with yourself. Over time, this practice can help you stop overthinking. You'll find that in those moments of silence, you reconnect with your true self. You'll find clarity, peace, and strength that wasn't there before. How to stop overthinking. The next time you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, take a moment to pause and be still. Stop and breathe and allow yourself to simply observe your thoughts. You don't need to act on every thought that arises. In stillness, you'll begin to see your thoughts for what they are, just passing clouds in the sky. You are the sky, vast and unbroken, and you don't need to become the clouds. This practice of stillness is powerful. It helps us stop overthinking, and in doing so, we tap into the strength that comes from within. As we conclude this lesson, we will shift towards the final reflections in the next section, where we'll bring together everything we've learned on how to find peace, clarity, and strength through mindfulness, stillness, and compassion. Conclusion. Let's take a moment to reflect. Throughout this journey, we've explored powerful teachings from Buddhism that can help us break free from overthinking and emotional pain. We've learned that peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. It's not about striving for perfection or avoiding pain. The key is self-awareness, compassion, and mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to notice our thoughts without becoming them. When we stop overthinking, we create space for clarity, peace, and understanding. We realize that our pain is part of the shared human experience, and in this, we can heal, both individually and together. As we embrace these teachings, we can find freedom from the cycles of stress and anxiety. The practice of turning toward our shadow, facing our discomforts with compassion, and trusting that life unfolds with purpose helps us live more peacefully. Each lesson we've learned brings us closer to a life of inner peace and fulfillment. Are you ready to put these teachings into practice? I encourage you to take these lessons with you. Apply them in your daily life. Find moments of stillness to reconnect with yourself. When overthinking arises, pause. Observe your thoughts and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. The path to peace is a journey, and it starts with small steps. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey today. Your commitment to self-discovery and mindfulness is an inspiration. I invite you to continue this journey, and if you found this content valuable, please share your thoughts with me in the comments. What have you discovered about yourself during this process? If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe and continue following Son.Mindfulness. This channel is here to support you on your path to greater peace, clarity, and happiness. Thank you for being here. May you always be healthy, peaceful, and happy. And may good fortune be with you as you continue on this beautiful journey. Thank you.